My next guest is going to be part of a documentary called Fight to Live, sharing her story about domestic violence. She also has a fight book coming up here against Taylor Starling for BKFC Knuckle Mania 5, January 25th. That is right around the corner. It is Bec Rawlings joining me here on the program. Bec, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, thank you.
Good to hear. Tell me how you became involved with this documentary. Obviously, an opportunity for you to share your story and inspire others, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've always been vocal about my story and the things that have happened. And I met Tom Haramis, my producer, just through another business, through another sponsor. And I was at an event one day, and he's just come up to me at the end of the event. He's like, "Beck, we need to make a documentary."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "People need to hear your story. People," he goes, "I think it could change a lot of people's lives." And like I was like, well, if you think if there's a story there, if you think it's going to help people, I'm all in. And so that's it. Kind of just grew from there, and he put it into action, and got it done. And we are very good friends still, and looking at other business ventures and stuff like that. But I'm very thankful that Tom, he saw something in me and saw something in my story, and he knew that people needed to see it, people needed to hear it. And yeah, it's been great. I've had a lot of feedback. A lot of people reach out to me, that have watched it here in Australia and New Zealand. It went to event cinemas here, and now it's on Netflix. And yeah, a lot of people have reached out saying how they have been affected by something similar, or they know someone has been affected, and or that they've had their kids watch it in hopes that they don't get affected by something similar and see the red flag. So that was that was our number one, kind of thing that we wanted to take out of it, was to help people not fall into the same situation. And I think we really did a good job of hitting the mark there.
And obviously you've always been sort of an open book, but how difficult was it to go back and relive some of those things that were very painful? I know it's supposed to be educational and inspire others, but it's also not the best thing to talk about, I'm sure, to go back and relive those memories.
Yeah, no, it was really hard. It was very hard emotionally. It was very draining. I found out, obviously, that while answering the questions, that I had buried a lot of these emotions, and I buried a lot of these memories as a defense mechanism. So it was hard to kind of dive back into them and get them out. But we got it done, and I just kept reminding myself, this is not for me. This is for the people I can help. This is for the greater cause. And I got through it. So it was tough, but it was worth it. And I think the final project, what's out there, is has and is helping a lot of people. So it's definitely, it was tough though. It was very tough.
And to give people an idea, how long did it take to complete the documentary, and how many hours did you sort of put into this? Because again, I'm sure you had to, go through a lot and kind of relive things a little bit. So take me through kind of the
Mhm.
time frame of everything.
I think we were filming for 2 to 3 years. We did like pick up filming during COVID as well. Um, it was in the works for about 4 years though. We had a little bit of legal issues and stuff at the end there, trying to get it, all that stupid politics stuff with things. So,
Mhm.
but we were filming for 2 years pretty straight, and then a little pickup one during COVID, which was a little bit, annoying. Obviously, COVID annoyed everyone.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so it was about 3 years of filming all up, and about 4 years of everything else, all the editing and stuff like that. So it's been a very big journey. There was a part there where we weren't ready to let it burn and not even release it, just from everything that was happening with it. So it's been very, very long road, a very emotional roller coaster. But we got there in the end, and it's great. Honestly, it was worth all the turmoil and trouble that we had trying to get it out there. So.
Would you say reliving the stories was the biggest challenge for you, or was it just, the time put into it? Like kind of looking back on everything, what was the biggest challenge of doing this?
I think that was the hardest day. We did probably one full day of me talking about everything
Okay.
in, and it was yeah, a very long day.
Mhm.
That was probably the hardest day, and I knew once we'd done that sit down, it was going to be smooth sailing after that, because it was just me talking about fighting and my family and all my nice happy things. So I definitely was very anxious leading up to that day, but once that was done, it was pretty easy. I think the next hardest thing was to get the kids to act normal with cameras in their face.
Right.
That was really tough. We had to redo. That was why we refilmed in COVID, because the first take we had with the kids, they were being idiots. We
Yeah.
could
No, I know.
not
I got
release
two boys.
that.
It's hard to keep them still for sure. So I understand that for
Oh
sure.
my
So
god.
yeah,
Yeah. So
I can only imagine.
yeah, we had to scrap all that footage because they were just not playing ball and just being silly. So
Mhm.
that's why we had to redo during COVID. So but yeah, that was probably the next hardest thing, was to get the kids to act normal with the camera in their face, which is really hard. That's hard to do, to ignore a camera in a big fluffy thing in your face. But we got there in the end.
I'm sure you've had a lot of fighters reach out to you privately, in terms of, seeing the film and taking everything in. Do you think there is a bit of a domestic violence problem in combat sports? Do you think, just with, the nature of the business and, how, your fighters are supposed to be strong, but it might be hard to talk about some of these things that are happening behind the scenes?
Look, I don't think it's just a combat thing. I don't think it's just a sport-based thing. It is just a thing.
Yeah.
I've had so many walks of life reach out to me, so many women, men reach out to me that have experienced similar things. And they come from corporate backgrounds. They're school teachers. They're, young girls that have just gotten out of high school, things like that. I don't think domestic violence discriminates. That I do know we have a big issue, because nearly every girlfriend of mine or their girlfriend has been through something similar, and that's not normal. Like,
Yeah.
that's not normal to go, oh yeah, I've had that happen to me. Like, what? Like, it should be an anomaly, but it's not. So I definitely feel like we need to do something. I'm not sure what. I don't know. I don't have the answer to stop it. I just know my doco is going to help educate people. It's going to help people recognize the red flags before they get in too deep, like I did. And I just hope that it can, help them get out before it's too late. I don't have the answer. I think there's a lot of factors that lead into domestic violence. I think the biggest one's mental health, and I think it's an emotional intelligence, relationship intelligence. So I think my next goal was to get my doco shown in high schools, because I think that's where it have the biggest impact. I think if I had seen something like my documentary when I was in high school, I would have recognized those red flags. I would have gone, hang on a minute, this isn't normal. I know what he's doing. And I would have gotten out before it was too late. So I think getting it into high school and doing some, emotional education and relationship education could help, but who knows?
A couple more quick questions. Do you plan on, obviously a lot of work was put into this documentary. Do you plan on continuing that work beyond just the documentary being out, whether it's speaking engagements or things like that, just as someone who's been through it?
Yeah, look, that's another thing that I would like to do. I think going into high schools, especially, and talking to people. I think younger kids might, kind of take me a little bit more serious, because of my career, the way I look and things like that. They won't be like, oh, who's this straighty coming in here telling me what to do. I think they might be more willing to listen. And so, yeah, I think I could definitely get into high schools and talk. And do some public speaking. I definitely need some coaching. I'm very good with interviews. I'm not so good at addressing crowds and things. So it's definitely something that I would like to do, and just help more people out there. We are in the process of turning the documentary into an actual movie. So that's another thing. I think it's just going to be an Australian produced and filmed movie, not in Hollywood or anything like that.
Right.
Wish that would have been cool, but I don't think it's going to get there.
Mhm.
So that's another cool thing that we've got in the works that I'm really excited about. So we'll see.
How are things going for Taylor Starling? How's camp? Who are you working with? Take me through a bit through training camp, as you have all this going on, and then you have this big fight coming up too.
Yeah, no, it's been really good. It's been a really good camp. This fight, they haven't really announced it, but it's been booked at a lighter weight. She was at 115 and I'm at 125, and we've decided to meet in the middle because she didn't
Cool.
want to come back up to 125,
Right.
which I think has kind of played more into into my side of things anyway, because it's made me push harder. I've been really, really strict on my conditioning and my work rate, just because I have to drop more weight. And so I am the fittest I've ever been. So
Nice.
it's been a really good camp. Yeah. And I had my last spar yesterday with Australian Top Gun Sugar Neeks Johnson. She's was world champion, and she's got a big fight coming up in a few months as well. So it was really good to get some competitive rounds out with her. We have sparred. I've sparred her when I was in MMA and when I was in Invicta, and she was like 14, 15. And we've just slowly kept sparring each other every few years and keeping it up. So it's really cool to see, like, she's, at the pinnacle of her sport and I'm at the pinnacle of mine, and we teed back up and sparred again. It's been a really cool relationship that we've had, and knowing that I've been punching her in the face since I was an adult, she was a kid.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a really good camp, and I've had really good competitive sparring, and I'm just ready to get in there. I've not liked having a year off. I've not liked being sidelined. I would really like to fight 3 to 4 more times this year. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully Bare Knuckle pull their finger out of their ass and book me a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if your contract allows you, would you ever do influencer boxing like Paige Van Zandt did with her? And, she had obviously the match. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, I could see your interest perk up, because I think you'd be perfect for it. Like, in terms of, everything that, you obviously love the striking and everything, but also your personality as well would really fit into that, I think.
Yeah, no, I would love to cross over to boxing. I am open to anything. I will fight. Boxing, no gloves. The only thing I won't do is power slap. I think it's stupid.
I'm with you there. I'm with you there. So we do agree on that.
I'm not going to let someone hit me. I'm like, it's just stupid. I'm not going to give you a free shot. My own pride and ego will not allow that. So but yeah, I'm definitely keen to get into boxing. Look, I'm just looking to fight as often as I can, and if Bare Knuckle can't book me as often, I will have to take other options. But my heart and soul and love is with Bare Knuckle, and I'm just hoping they can keep me active. And they're always very good though. Like, if I wanted to take a boxing fight, they would allow me if they haven't booked me. So yeah, and I'm technically a free agent anyway, so it's
perfect.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Cool. We got like 30 seconds left. Just quickly, as a fellow Aussie, what did you think of Robert Whittaker and Israel Adesanya training together? They had that photo the other day on social media. I thought that was really cool to see these two former rivals now working together.
Look, Rob's fucking awesome. Like, you can't hate the man. So I could see how they would link up and kind of squash their beef, and it's for the greater good. And it's good to see. I just don't think there should have ever been a beef. Like, there should have just been that mutual respect there. I think Israel probably started that little beef, because I don't see Rob starting it. So yeah, no, it's cool to see. It's cool.
Anything you want to plug before we get out of here, Bec? Obviously, the documentary, you mentioned the distribution and all that, and anything else you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
No, just tune into my fight. It'll be Australia Day here in Australia when I fight. So I better have all the Australians tuning in with their tinnies and get drunk. It'll be 11 a.m. So it's beer o'clock at 11 a.m. on Australia Day. So you better tune in.